The Las Vegas Raiders have worked out 3 different running backs. They each had a tryout with the team on Tuesday. This is reported by Pro Football Network. Aaron Wilson. Interesting stuff to see here, especially when you think about the Josh Jacobs situation. Josh McDaniels did shut down those trade rumors by saying they have no desire to trade Josh Jacobs, but here the Raiders are working out 3 different running backs, and it's also interesting because we don't really need that much depth on this team. The Raiders have tons of running backs on this roster. You also have Britton Brown returning along with many other running backs: Kenyon Drake, Brandon Bolden, Amir Abdullah, Zamir White, Alston Walter, who looked great in the preseason matchup. Tons of backs on the Raiders roster, but they are still working out these 3 backs. We're going to get into their history, who these 3 backs are, and also what this means for Josh Jacobs, because Josh McDaniels could say one thing, but maybe something else is happening. Let's talk about what this means for this running back room. Now, Levante Bellamy, I would say, is the most athletic running back on this list. He sits at 5'10", 190 pounds, and this guy is really talented and actually was on the Broncos for 2020 after being a UDFA, coming out of Western Michigan, played there in college in 2019 and before then, but in 2020 eventually had to be placed on IR after going on and off the practice squad. He had this sort of scenario happening, but he did technically appear in 5 games, didn't play much, but was part of the 53-man roster in 5 games in 2020, and then he was placed on IR again in 2021. So Bellamy has just unfortunately dealt with injuries and really hasn't had much of a shot, much of an opportunity. 26 years old. This guy, out of all these people on this list, I would say is probably the most accomplished and has some of the most reputation out of all these people, because the one who has the least is actually Quay Holmes. Quay Holmes is 6'1", 220 pounds. This guy is slow but huge, and he comes out of East Tennessee State, had 17 touchdowns, over 1,500 yards with them last year. Sort of a bruiser type of back, but a UDFA, has not been signed by any team at all or anything like that. So, Josh McDaniels is working this guy out and seeing what he has. And then you also have Brendan Knox, who played at Marshall, was a UDFA for the Cowboys in 2021 before eventually being waived, and actually was kind of with the Chiefs earlier this year, but was eventually waived by them. Knox sits at 5'11", 223 pounds, kind of a big back, sort of like Quay Holmes. And the one knock on him is he doesn't have that burst and speed, but rarely ever fumbles, and that's probably something Josh McDaniels really likes to see about Brendan Knox. So he is working out these 3 guys. Aaron Wilson, you have it right there. Bellamy, Quay Holmes, Brendan Knox. Little typo on Knox right there. But it's interesting to see, because like I said before, when we talk about the Raiders running back room, where does it stand today? And what does the depth chart say that they officially release? Josh Jacobs, number 1, and he is the number 1 back. And I'm going to get into how I feel about Josh Jacobs towards the end of this video a little bit. Then you got Brandon Bolden as your number 2 on the depth chart. Then you have Kenyon Drake. And by the way, I want to say, I know Kenyon Drake had sort of the most negative press after the preseason game, looked a little banged up, didn't perform too well. O-line also wasn't doing well at the same time Kenyon Drake was playing. But the thing about Drake is I think he's a lock to stay on the team, because when you look at his contract, the Raiders would eat $4 million in dead money if they did move on from Kenyon Drake this year. He was due guaranteed money anyways this year, so the Raiders decided to convert it to a bonus in order to free up cap space for this year. So Kenyon Drake, I think, is a lock to be on the roster, even if maybe he's not, the number 1, 2, or 3rd back. He could be at the bottom of the depth chart, but I think the Raiders intended to keep him on this team, restructure, because they knew they're going to have to pay the money in cap anyway. So you might as well restructure, turn it into a bonus, keep this guy for the whole entire year. So I think Kenyon Drake's a lock to stay on this team. So you got Jacobs, Brandon Bolden, Kenyon Drake, Amir Abdullah, Zamir White. Obviously, Zamir White's a lock, being a draft pick, highly touted. The organization likes him. 4th round pick, Zamir White. And then in addition to that, you have Britton Brown, who, the 7th round pick, but still, this guy could maybe be something out of UCLA, and he's healthy and he's come back. And then you also have Alston Walter, who I thought did pretty decent in this previous game. So in my opinion, you have 7 running backs already. It's not even my opinion. I mean, I don't know why I said that. It's on the depth chart. You got 7 running backs, and I would say, as of right now, this is going to hurt some feelings. I would say Bolden's a lock, Drake's a lock, and Zamir White's a lock. I would say these 3 are a lock out of the 7. And now you're working out 3 other people because you want to at least bring one more in, bringing the competition to 8. Keep in mind, I think it was August 28th or something like that, right before, a couple weeks before the first game, official depth chart by the Patriots last year. They did have 5 running backs on their roster last year. You know, Ramondre Stevenson, Damian Harris, James White, Brandon Bolden, and JJ Taylor. They had 5 running backs on their roster last year for the Patriots. So we could keep 5. And so now we have a competition between 8 running backs trying to keep 5, 3 who I believe are a lock. Who are the 2 spots? You could say Jacobs and, you know, one of these other players, but maybe Amir Abdullah as well. But it's just interesting because I just think, okay, yes, you shut down the trade rumors. Why do you need another back? I mean, there's no report that anybody is injured. If anything, you have more people coming back. I think this means you're trying to look at your options and see if you can make a move to squeeze any sort of value out of Josh Jacobs. Because here's the thing. Yes, the Raiders could receive a compensatory pick if they just keep Jacobs this year and he tests free agency. However, that comp pick will not be high unless he plays a lion's share of snaps. It is based on snap total and contribution to the team. If Jacobs is going to be in a running back committee, you're not going to get a 3rd or 4th round compensatory pick. You're not. So the Raiders are probably looking for that on the market. Maybe just seeing their options or whatnot. I'm not saying, I don't know for sure. I'm not in the mind of Josh McDaniels, but if you're working out all these backs, you have tons of backs that you picked up already in the draft, already in free agency in March, and now you're working out some more when everybody's healthy from all reports, and then you play your star running back in preseason. What else are you supposed to think? What else are you supposed to conclude from that? Okay, maybe they're just trying to make the bottom of the depth chart a little stronger. Okay, time will tell. Time will tell, but I think they better quit messing around because you don't want to burn a bridge with somebody like Josh Jacobs. You want this guy to be committed to the team and committed to the Raiders and be invested in the Raiders and maybe even extend the guy. I don't know. Maybe extend him, wait till it happens midseason, how he performs or whatnot. But look at this chart that came out today. Big play running back. Okay, who forces the most missed tackles per attempt? Where are you at on this list? You can see right next to where it says Devin Singletary right there. There's a Raiders emblem right there for Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs next to Melvin Gordon, next to Devin Singletary, forcing some of the most missed tackles per attempt in the NFL. There's very few people who do it more than him. And then yards after contact, yes, he took a step back, but he's still around some of the top running backs, about mid-tier in yards after contact per attempt. So Josh Jacobs, I mean, come on, man. This guy is still a stud. I think he helped bring us into the playoffs last year. And I just think, you know what? We need to not play him in preseason. You need to keep him fresh. Okay, that's fine to work out some running backs and see what could happen and improve the bottom of the depth chart. But then why do we got to start testing out Jacobs in preseason? You know, let's let all these other running backs that you're trying out in the bottom of the depth chart play in preseason rather than risking this guy in some reps. Either way, like this video if you haven't already and subscribe to the Raiders Rundown for more Raiders content. My name is WiFiWillie. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.